United are now third. Villa losing against Wolves. That was, I suppose, a bit of a surprise, but Villa are massively wobbling.
Man United haven't been in third place at any point in any season since May 2023, which is obviously when Ten Hag finished third in his first season. In years to come, it will be clear as day that Sesco and Gyökeres is not a conversation at all.
I think Sesco has now got twice as many goals as Haaland in 2026. But this is definitely a game I'm looking at and going, just in the first 15 minutes, just don't concede. Because just let the crowd die down a bit, because if you go the opposite, it could be a long night. Well then, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of United People's Podcast. It's me and it's Nick. It's only us two today, but I tell you what, we still got smiles on our faces, man. It's 7 games in for Carrick. It's 6 wins now. It's 1 draw. I saw some mad stat, Nick, about like Carrick's got like the best ever. What was that stat? Is like the best ever start by a Premier League manager after like 9 games or something.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it was that was the stat. What did Ollie have? Because he obviously had an insane start as well, but he's obviously not bettered Carrick's.
I thought Ollie won his first 8.
But that's what I mean. Then he should be, unless the other person. I don't know. But the stat in itself is impressive. We'll take it for what it is.
Anyway, yeah, we'll get into semantics here, but we'll talk about that game. It was another important win. It was another game where, let's be honest, there was some frustrations in it. We're not getting perfect performances here, but we're getting the right results. Sesco more than a super sub. We've now got confirmation of that. I mean, where do you want to start from that game? I suppose just start with the result itself. As I said, like United are now third. Villa losing against Wolves. That was, I suppose, a bit of a surprise, but Villa are massively wobbling. We've now got Newcastle coming up midweek, and we'll preview that towards the end of this pod. But mate, Carrick's at the wheel.
It's huge. It's huge. I think they said that Man United haven't been in third place at any point in any season since May 2023, which is obviously when Ten Hag finished third in his first season.
It's disgusting stat.
You're talking, nearly 3 years. So, yeah, and I think what's really good at the moment, I mean, it's good and bad, but we're winning games without necessarily always playing well, which a bit of a cliche in football, but if you can win without playing well, that's a good sign. And it is small moments that are winning us these games. Obviously against Everton, it's that brilliant counter-attack. And against Crystal Palace today, it's that Bruno pass, which I do want to get into a little bit. I want to get into Bruno a little bit in general, because there was things in that first half that did frustrate me about not him, but how he was being used. But yeah, we're getting through games and winning when we're not playing well, which is a good sign.
If you're looking at the habits of games and the patterns that are starting to see quite regularly under Carrick, first half's quite shit. Second half's noticeably better. And it was like, obviously the red card changed the game, and it was a red card. Why did that take so long to get given as a red card? I was a bit confused by that.
I think if you want to debate whether or not it's a penalty, maybe we can have a conversation about that, because the contact starts outside the box. But the red card is a given. Like, he's through on goal. Like, I had a mate on WhatsApp telling me that it's not clear and obvious. It's not a clear goal scoring opportunity. I'm like, mate, just
give over.
Have a day off.
Give over. Anyway, Bruno dispatching the penalty. Bruno again with another goal, another assist. The cross, we've been speaking about these. And it was just, I'll be honest, like, the cross was decent, but the header was everything. Like, that was a header that Sesco created himself. A load of power into that, a load of direction. And that's now winner against Fulham, winner against Everton, winner against Crystal Palace there, and the equaliser against West Ham. 4 goals from Sesco that have earned United 7 points from just 4 goals. Mate, that the lad is, I think United have actually managed him really well, if I'm being honest. I think Carrick's managed him really well. The fact that Cunha and Mbeumo were taking the limelight in a good sense earlier gave him a little bit more time to settle in. I think that's really helped him. It was a big goal from him, and just, more than a super sub. I think it's definitely, well, we knew that anyway, but you've seen it.
Yeah, I think the signs have been there with him, but he wasn't playing with this confidence that he's got now at the earliest part of the season. And the goal today, you're right, because Bruno puts it into an area and he puts good width behind it so that Sesco doesn't need to generate too much power behind it. But it's the small movement that he does to get there ahead of the Crystal Palace defender, whose name I've forgotten now. But I think he was a 19-year-old who's just come into Palace's first team. So to notice that little moment of inexperience from the Palace defender, where the Palace defender stepped too far forward and Sesco's just drifted in behind him to get his head onto that. It's really good movement from him. It's proper like centre forward play. And I've been having this debate for the longest time with Arsenal fans. We got the better striker. Like, even if it's not clear as day now in this moment, in years to come, it will be clear as day that Sesco and Gyökeres is not a conversation at all.
Mate, do you know what's mad? Like we might have signed Liam Delap.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. And we full on we really wanted him.
Yeah,
United were devastated when Chelsea got him.
It's weird how it works. There are real positives, of course, and we're focusing on them. But what's your sort of take on United in first halves? Because that's now, was that 3 games in a row, right? Is it West Ham, Everton, and now Crystal Palace, where it's the first halves. Like, we couldn't string 2 passes together in that first half. I don't really know what was going on there. Like the really simple stuff, like a 9-yard pass, spooned. What was going on there?
To be fair, like with Everton and West Ham, like I wouldn't necessarily say that the performances were that much better in the second half anyway. I don't know if you agree, but I don't know if the second. I wouldn't say the overall performance in those 2 halves were better. But we just produced a goal in those halves. That's just the clinical difference between the first and the second. This game though was different. The first half was frustrating because first things, like the press from us wasn't great, right? Palace were playing for us a few times, but there was a few times where Palace played out, and I was kind of looking like, where's this Palace been for the last 2 months? Like,
yeah, they were playing pretty good, to be fair.
Like they were bopping the ball about first little 1-2 touch football. It was good. So that was annoying because we just couldn't get the ball off them in certain moments. They were playing through us a lot easier than you'd want them to. But it was frustrating because like we weren't getting on the ball in good enough areas, and we weren't sustaining pressure enough in that first half, and we weren't really creating anything. Like really, apart from there was a few early crosses into Sesco, which is a good sign that we're trying to service him on a regular basis. But then there was a few set piece moments. But the one thing we weren't creating, and the one thing with Bruno for me was that he was getting the ball in really wide areas, or it just wasn't getting to him because he was really high up the pitch, almost next to Sesco. And that's why that moment for the penalty where Cunha wins the penalty is so nice, because he kind of drops in deeper to get on the ball. And you know what's really impressive about that moment? When he plays the pass, I thought Cunha was making the run. Cunha wasn't making the run. Bruno said, run with the pass. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's almost forced Cunha to go after it by making the pass and forcing him to make the run. So, yeah. But the first half, second half stuff is a little bit concerning, but also not massively new to us, I'd say. With Ruben Amorim, it was a bit opposite, right?
Yeah, it's just a little bit strange, I suppose, because I think the results are definitely there, but there's going to be quite a few elements of these performances that Carrick's going to want to improve on. I thought one part of that in particular, I'm not really kind of coming like big fucking negative after the game. Just the things just spotting the game, just the things that we're spotting. Like United really struggled down that left-hand side today because we were, well, Shaw went off. Did you see what that Shaw injury was? It him getting stamped on?
We saw that. Sky Sports showed that highlight, but like, I don't like that. Would surprise me if that's what it is.
It didn't look that mad. It didn't look that bad anyway.
But knowing Luke Shaw, the concern is that it's a muscle strain. That's the worry with Luke Shaw.
Well, I'm guessing we'll find out against Newcastle on Wednesday, right? But yeah, United when Shaw went off, Mazraoui came on, and we had Cunha on the left-hand side. You're really noticing now with Dorgu out of this team and Cunha, who's always going to cut inside because that's how he plays as an inside forward. We had such a distinct lack of width against Crystal Palace that made it quite easy for them to defend narrow because they knew that we weren't going to go out wide. And because we had Ahmad off and Sesco was on, which I thought was the right call, it made us even more narrow. Maybe that made it a little bit more predictable for us to, for Crystal Palace to defend against us. But we switched it up in the second half. And it was that red card that flipped the script. I'll tell you one player I thought played really well, man, was Casemiro. I felt like he was kind of really dictating, really finding those 20, 30, 40-yard passes. And there was one type of pass in particular I liked from him. It was like Casemiro a couple of times. Bruno did it a couple of times as well. It's like one of those line-breaking passes through midfield that go towards the edge of the box. But instead of it being passed backwards, it kind of like, they just flick it around the corner.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't know how to describe that pass, but it was like we did it a couple of times, and that was what broke the Palace sort of deep defensive block, and it worked.
Yeah, it's almost like a square flick. I don't know if that really
Yeah,
makes
I don't know
like
how to describe it.
yeah. There's no word. No, I know what you're talking about though. It's just a little movement. It's just a little like get it, keep it going basically in the same way it's going, flick it on. Yeah, it's nice. And he won the ball back a few times. There was like numerous times where it was like a loose ball situation in midfield. And he got to quite a few of those. Kobbie Mainoo got on a few of them as well. And one thing I did notice as well, again, not on the negatives. This is like we've won, and that's all that really matters. But so Lisandro Martinez, obviously, he's been out again, and we noticed it against Everton where those line breaking passes just weren't on. And there was moments in the first half that I just thought, would it make sense for Kobbie and Casemiro to swap when we're in possession in those moments because we haven't got Alessandro Martinez? Do you almost ask Kobbie to drop in a little bit deeper to pick it up so that he can spray those passes? Because we were struggling to progress the ball forward.
Well, Casemiro is probably better at the 30, 40-yard diagonals, and I would imagine Kobbie might be slightly better at the short, sharp, incisive ones in the middle. But I don't know. I think like going into Newcastle, we'll speak about that in a little bit, but that's going to be a tough one. Do you know if Bruno's injured? Did he play for them against Everton?
I don't think. I mean, he didn't play against Everton, no, and I don't think he'll be fit. I highly doubt it.
Wow, that's a shame. No one else see that. But like, what's I suppose what's your main takeaway from this game? Is this just we're riding high, man. We're really riding high.
Probably Sesco, and not just the fact that he's playing well and he's scoring goals and he's confident, but for the first time in a while, it feels like United feel like, or United players feel like they have a striker that if they really purposefully try to service, he will produce. Because it wasn't a coincidence that Bruno cross goes in there. Because I think Kobbie did that really early on in the second half. Dalot tried to put in a few of those. You know, those sort of like, where De Bruyne used to spray them in that area. There was quite a few of those from that area into Sesco. So that's my biggest takeaway is that it feels like we've got a striker now that we feel like if we service him properly, he'll bag us goals. And that was a really, they really tried to service him today and it worked.
Something, I don't know if you feel this as well, but like, I was watching United in that first half and I was frustrated. There was a lot of frustration, but going to the second half and I've got confidence that United are going to find a goal. I've got confidence that United are going to get better as the game goes on and that we can keep cranking it up. And like we've done it consistently now, like quite a few times under Carrick. We are better as the game progresses on. We do have subs that impact the game. And it was another match where we came and scored 2 goals in the second half and we deserved to win. And like Carrick has just got the formula, I suppose, right now. And going into this Newcastle game, right? So we now play Newcastle and Villa of our next 2 games. 2 big games, to be fair. Villa losing 2-0 to Wolves. Newcastle, they lost 3-2 to Everton. At home as well. But I can't remember the last time that we played at St James's Park and had like a cracking game because it's a tough place to go. I don't know whether I'm forgetting a game or a performance, but it's always been a tough place to go for a good long while now.
Yeah, there's one that as soon as I say Wan-Bissaka scored.
Yeah, I knew that. That's the last time I remember Wan-Bissaka when he banged one in the roof of the net.
Yeah, that was also the game where do you remember we scored that really nice counter-attacking goal where Bruno put it top bins.
Oh,
naughty.
That was tidy.
That was tidy. But no, you're right though. You're right. We've struggled there for some time.
You'd fully expect Newcastle to leave significantly more space than what we've got accustomed to in these last few games, right? They will come out. They will be aggressive. They will be on the front foot. They will try and press the life out of us. And it'll be like Leeds against City. Like that, I imagine that's how Newcastle will play in the first 15 minutes against us because that's how it works for them, right? Would you expect them to operate with a high press?
I do. High press and high line. But I also don't know if this Newcastle team are... they're not as good as they were when we've gone there in the past and struggled. They've been a better side. Their midfield 3 has been a lot better. Right now, their midfield 3 does look a bit wobbly. Baltimore's not scoring. So, yes, but I don't know if they'll have sustained periods of pressure against us. So I still think there'll be moments where we're in their half bopping it about for some time. But yeah, like you said, it is Newcastle at home, so they're gonna try to start fast. And when they've got Gordon and Barnes on either wing, for example, like that is still a threat. Even if they are off for like not in good form, that's still a threat. It's still something to worry about.
What would you say is sort of the strategy and approach from Carrick in this game? Is it going to be the same as we've got in these last few games, or is it going to be slightly tweaked?
It's got to be balanced. Like I don't know if this is because it feels like to me that both teams will try to press. Both teams in moments will try to have a high line. Neither team will be completely dominant over the other in possession. So it's got to be a balanced performance from us. I wouldn't be surprised if Sesco gets dropped, by the way. I think. I, not to say I want him to, but is this a game where you kind of go with the Arsenal approach a little bit? Because against Arsenal, we still bopped it about. We still got on the ball, but we did try to play really quick when we did win it back. And I just wonder if... But then again, Sesco's rapid anyway. But I just wonder if Mbumo through the middle, is that an option that Carrick kind of goes back to for this one? Get Ahmad back on?
The old false nine.
Yeah. But just Mbumo playing on the shoulder of the last defender. Obviously, we've seen what he can do with that. I just wonder if, because, like we say, with Newcastle's high line and their want to press United high, that leaves space in behind. Do you go for Mbumo through the middle, bring Ahmad back? I don't know. Or is Sesco just in too? He's in too good form to drop.
I mean, it was his first start, right? But he delivered. Like every single opportunity that he's been given, he has delivered so far. I think Sesco has now got, this is a great stat, has got twice as many goals as Haaland in 2026.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm taking that one. I'm taking that one to the shops.
Yeah.
But I look, randomly going back to the Palace game. Now, what did you think about Adam Wharton's game?
I mean, tough to say. The first half that he was a part of, when we were talking about Palace bopping it about and playing through us, there were a few moments where he got on the ball and played it about and did what he played his part in that. Second half, little bit ominous. I don't know, like not that noticeable. I don't know if you agree with that, but there weren't moments that I can really pick out my brain to say, yeah, Wharton did something of magic there, but also context matters, right? They go down to 10 men and then it's basically United pile on pressure, but not anything that noticeable. I don't know if you agree.
I look at Adam Wharton and I'm sort of comparing, because you have to. You're comparing him to Elliot Anderson. You're comparing him to, well, maybe not Carlos Belieber anymore because he's a little bit down in the pecking order, or Tonali, for example. Adam Wharton, just, I don't know. I don't want to use the word luxury, but I just feel like he would require a partner a lot more than someone like Elliot Anderson or Sandro Tonali would. I think they'd be the drivers in midfield if either of those were to be signed, and alongside Kobbie Mainoo, it's kind of what we need. I think if you were to try and partner Kobbie with Wharton, I don't think that would work, would it?
Nah, that never works. That would never work. That's just asking for trouble. Like,
I'll be interested to see if United actually do kind of follow up the interest in him, and whether or not we actually go after him. But it's Elliot Anderson who we want, man. I think everyone knows that.
My gut feeling is that we don't go for Wharton. Like, I mean, his stocks have dropped anyway. He's not had the season that he had last. But I just think in Kobbie and Wharton, you've got two very similar profile of players. And whoever we sign for big money this season needs to come in and start immediately. It can't be like interchange or Kobbie might go for it. It can't be that. It's just got to be someone who can just come and sit next to Kobbie Mainoo. And for me, it's never going to be Wharton. I still wouldn't discount Baleba completely either. But yeah, it is Elliot Anderson, isn't it? That's your number one choice.
Or maybe Tonali. I suppose we'll see Tonali on Wednesday night, right? You'd imagine.
I do like Tonali.
Mate, you'd imagine he's going to be one of their best players. He is one of their best players, right?
Yeah, he is. He's also had a bit of an up and he's had a bit of an up and down season himself. Newcastle obviously play a part in that because they haven't been good, but I think there was a game recently where he was dropped, and I was really surprised that he was dropped. But I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of his, and I think when you go with Tonali versus Elliot Anderson, I think Tonali might be the one who's just got that little bit more experience to handle what comes with playing at Old Trafford and what comes with playing for a club like Man United, because he's done it at Milan, he's done it at Newcastle. But I don't doubt that Elliot Anderson doesn't have the temperament to deal with it either. I just think maybe Tonali might edge him a little bit in that. But both really, really top players. Both are going to be north of £100 million anyway.
Hey, look, if we sign either of them, you ain't going to get me complaining, man. They are the absolute top tier. But in terms of the game against Newcastle, throw a prediction at me. So what did you predict for the Palace game? I can't remember now. Was it 3-1?
I think I went... What did I think I went 3-1. Yeah, I went 3-1.
I
wasn't that far.
I went 4-2. I was a bit wrong.
Yeah.
I was a bit wrong. But, you know,
with the
we got that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all that counts.
What are you saying?
What did Dan say? I think Dan said... He said something big as well.
I think he did
4-1
or something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was big.
Loose.
Yeah, it was big.
What a loose prediction that was.
By the way, I know Yoro loses his man for the Lacroix corner, which is obviously there's just mistakes in his game because he's young centre back. But that is an unreal header, to be fair to Lacroix. It's just really well guided into it's like the furthest point away from Le Mans where you can't get there. So
it was slow-mo watching the head. I was like, fuck's sake, that's definitely going in.
Yeah, it's going in. So fair play to if you're gonna concede a corner, at least let it be something like that and not what Asna like to do.
Oh, God. Anyway, right. What's your prediction then for Newcastle? Are we making it 7 wins and 1 draw? Are we winning away at Arsenal and Newcastle under Carrick?
Oh, mate, we don't do well there. We actually don't. But I always back United. So I'll go 2-1. And you're talking... squeaky bum time at the end, kind of 2-1.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can take that. Although I think Newcastle play City in the FA Cup 3 days after our game, I think.
Oh, mate, you're right. All right, so Wednesday United, Saturday Man City, Tuesday Barca, Saturday Chelsea, Wednesday Barca, and then to top it off, Sunday Sunderland. That's unreal. Jesus.
Lucky lads. See, I don't know. Maybe they have one eye on the FA Cup. I don't quite know. But I'm going to go for a score draw in this one. I think I'm going to go for a 2-2. I think United have... Would I say that we're vulnerable in defence right now? I don't know whether vulnerable is the right way to describe it, because I actually think from a defensive standpoint, it's probably still one of the most impressive things that's happened under Carrick, how good we are out of possession. But they're really going to have to bring the sort of level of performance that we showed away at Arsenal if we're going to have a chance of winning this game. I don't think it's going to be a game where United can get 1 goal and just try and control it. It just won't happen. It's not going to be that sort of occasion. I'm going to go for a 2-2, I think, in this one. Would I be happy with a 2-2? Would I take a 2-2? Newcastle are mid-table right now.
Yeah, they've got 14th, are they?
They just lost at home to Everton. So in that sense, again, you've got to go in with a bit of confidence. But this is definitely a game I'm looking at and going, just in the first 15 minutes, just don't concede, because just let the crowd die down a bit. Because if you go the opposite, it could be a long night.
Yeah, and crowd hasn't been quite the same of late. Results follow what the crowd. I don't think so. Anyway, I mean, it feels a bit. You hear what's going on with Walter Made as well. He's apparently unhappy. So
is he?
Yeah, apparently he's not settling in Newcastle. Apparently, he's potentially talking about a summer move only a season after it's come. So yeah, it's an unhappy camp there in general. It feels like.
Mate, it is funny, isn't it? All the strikers that moved about in the summer, Ekitike. Still think Ekitike was probably feels like the best one, but Sesco's kind of getting up there now. Is it João Pedro at Chelsea? He was a new one.
Yeah, they've all kind of. I mean, Walter Made had a good start, fell off. Gyökeres has picked up form a little bit now, which is really annoying. Ekitike has been pretty good throughout. I do question Ekitike's temperament a little bit, though, I have to say. That moment where he took off his shirt and celebrated against Southampton in the Carabao Cup.
Oh, that was weird. He got the red card, right?
Yeah. But talented player, though. But yeah.
Anyway, we got Sesco, though. Will Sesco start? I would imagine he will start.
You should do, really.
I think he should. I don't. I think it would. It's not a case of it being unfair if he doesn't start. It's like, what's the game plan? What's the approach? And I think from an attacking perspective, he's probably our best weapon right now. So why wouldn't we use him? Why wouldn't we gear the game towards getting the most out of Sesco when he's been delivering all these goals? But if he comes off the bench, I'd probably back him to score. If he starts, I'd probably back him to score. United, as I said, third in the league, and you said at the start, first time since May 2023 that's happened. That's like, I knew we've been bad, but we've been that shit.
It has been, mate. It's been like this that period there. That might be like the roughest period as a United fan. Let's be real. It's never been worse. Like that last season of Ten Hag and Ruben Amorim, dark times as a United fan. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Next time that we speak, we've conquered St James's Park at the same. It's going better than any of us could have imagined, and we're all still pessimistically waiting for something to come and like just uppercut us or just like give us a little like jab round the side.
Does it feel like it's coming?
United are getting the results. No, it feels pretty calm. It feels pretty good. And as you said, I don't think we're playing incredibly, but we're getting the results whilst other teams continue to falter and stumble. Fingers crossed United keep it up. Look, Nick, love to chat. If you enjoyed the pod, by the way, please do leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening to it. And we'll see you after the next episode.